This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
So, talking about Google now, guys, we're talking about Android here and the Android marketplace. Back in October of 2008, on the 22nd of that month, Google introduced us to Android. I mean, it's been out there, but publicly available for everyone. We always go back to that October 22nd as the birthday. And so it's now its 15th birthday. And that also brings us the Android marketplace. Now, what I liked about that is that they did it right. Not even Fruitvale came out with their app store when they first launched their first device. So Google got it right here, and kudos to Google for thinking this thing right. You bring the device, and it also has your, marketplace, as it was called back then. So for me, I think one of those things that I also liked back then about the Android market, and it went on till like March of 2012 when it got renamed to the Play Store. And around that time, guys, we had so many TTS engines. Yeah, what are some of your favorite ones back then? I mean, there were just so many. We had so many choices. I think mine was the S Vox Classics that we had. Anyone remember that? I think we even had the good old Loquendo. Did any of you use any of those things at all?
Honestly, I'm probably going to be the oddball out here because at that time, I can honestly say I wasn't even using an Android device. I was still sitting using my BlackBerry and Orator. So this is actually a very interesting topic for me because I have no idea what all actually existed at that time on the Android marketplace.
I'm in the same boat as you. I think I started using Android in like 2015, so it was already the Play Store. I didn't know what the Android. I mean, I obviously had heard of the Android market, but I joined late.
So you boys, here's what happened. You missed out on the fun. Cam was busy being a good Canadian, being patriotic and, keeping to BlackBerry. And John, I don't know why you didn't jump on till 2015. Were you kind of fruit veiler?
No, fortunately, I was not. I was using Windows Phone, actually.
And the Windows phones were actually absolutely beautiful back then. And the CEO of Microsoft now is saying here it was a mistake. They killed that Windows phone. I had one, and I still have it. I still have the HTC 10. I still even have the Motorola QC or whatever. They're still sitting somewhere here in my drawer. But yeah, we had so many voices back then. Karen, I'm sure you were on Android back then. What were some of your favorite features back then, especially with the TTS engines that we had so much of?
Yeah, I'm the TTS lover. I think many people know this. Actually, the first app that I bought with on Android was the SVOX voice, which was the Arabic voice, and I still remember until now that it used to read the English words like it used to spell them. So instead of reading them with the Arabic voice like the other engines do now, it used to like if you have the word my name, for example, it will say Kareen. So whenever I have an Arabic and English text, it was giving me a spelling lesson every time that I'm reading any English. And back then there was no like automatic switching at all. Actually, the automatic language switching had started after that, maybe 2 or 3 years. No, I think it was about 1 year after I started using Android when we had the automatic language switching. So yeah, this was the first TTS that I ever owned. If my memory doesn't deceive me, I think that the Oliver voice now, which is in Vocalizer, is the same voice that we had with the UK, which was, I think, was it called Simon or Victor or something? Do you remember?
I happened to be one of those that didn't care about the UK voices, and I think it was a mistake. I could have collected those things, especially the Bright Voice technologies, the one that Amazon just hogtied. I'm talking about the Kindras and the Emmys and all of that. Those were the days, man. Those things were free. I mean, they were on beta, and you can just have them forever. And that's the reason why I still have, Nicole, Emmy, and what's the other one? The American voice,
Kendra.
Kindra.
It was
There we go.
Kendra.
Yeah, yeah. I still have those. And then the S-Box Classic was one of my favorites, but then I think I was being foolish. I just did not have that good sense of extracting the APKs and all of that. And so I had Grace, and there was Mike, and there was, Victoria was another good one from like the UK. We had a lot of voices back then. I don't know why we don't seem to have those things anymore. But those were the good
Yeah,
days of
and
the
they were with
Android
good
market.
quality actually. This is the thing that they were really like the quality. If you just like this year, it was I mean 2013 or 2012, and the quality was good, even better than some quality of some TTS engines that we have now.
You are correct. They had very good quality voices, and I'll never forget that. And um, we just don't have that anymore. You would think that by now, though, with all the AI that everybody's crazing about and all of that and all the technology improvements, that we'll have better TTS sounding engines. But unfortunately, those voices are not quite as good. I mean, some of them are good, but then they could be laggy or whatever. That's the problem. So we can have it either way, both ways rather.
I think we are left behind actually in the TTS engine thing. Like no one is caring actually to develop something for the offline use, especially on Android. So we used to like mock iPhone users. Hey, you don't have TTS engines, you don't have choices. However, now thing is the opposite. Yeah, I still don't like the voices that they have, especially the vocalizer ones. They say that they are in the high quality. However, they are very bad, not because I don't like iPhone, because really they are bad, but actually the thing is they have choice. However, we are not having choice anymore, and I fear the future actually as a TTS engine lover, and I think you, Warren, the same person, the same type of person. You are also a TTS engine lover, so I think we are going to in a direction where choice will not be something that we will have, unfortunately.
All I can say is, how have the mighty fallen? They are sitting on top, and we're sitting at the bottom right now when it comes to TTS engines. Karen, you're absolutely correct. And I used to tease my friends. I would have like 15 different voices or whatever, different TTS engines and all of that. And he's like, "Oh, I wish I could have that." Now I meet with him, and I'm like, I'm eating dog poop right now, guy. Because I used to give you a bad time, and here I am. I'm eating, crow food. Stupid.
You're listening to the Blind Android Users podcast.
So there's something also that happened, guys, and I know we have Xiaomi guys here. Ed, I'm looking at you, the cat boy. That's what I call that Xiaomi, the cat boy. So Xiaomi decided that they're going to have that new OS, rather skin called Hyper OS or whatever, and I think it might be good, if it's a little bit different from what they used to have with the Me UI, the one I call the Cat UI. Sally, do you have any Cat UIs, or did you have any fun with the Cat UI?
Well, I used to have a Xiaomi phone before getting my Samsung phone. So, what I know so far about this HyperOS is they're more working on connected devices and making the new interface running faster. And it will be based on Android 14, and it will receive lots of Xiaomi devices released in the past 2 years will receive those updates to Android 14, and they will get to the new um, HyperOS. We talked about it in our local podcast yesterday, so I know a bit about it. So it says even if you have a really basic phone, the HyperOS will work faster than the original MIUI, and there won't be any separation with Chinese and international distributions of the HyperOS, because MIUI used to have Chinese or any regional Indian, Indonesian, European, or any US. Oh, there will be no difference at all. So they are going to centralize the operating system that they have, and it will be more about the connected devices like headphones, computers, TVs, and they will all work with the HyperOS.
Now they also rolled out a watch though, and I'm wondering,
Yeah.
having that Hyper OS or whatever, I'm wondering if that thing is accessible. But of course, we wouldn't know, and I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to watch because we don't have much details about it yet. But the phone they released, the 14 and 14 Pro, especially the 14 Pro, is really getting high marks about it because it has titanium back cover. It's like 98% titanium, which is amazing. Fruitwell used to do that with the 15, and now they're following. So I think the next is gonna be Samsung with a titanium back cover. Let's see.
All you can do is wish, right? I mean, Samsung does
Yeah.
some good stuff, but yeah, those guys, Xiaomi has, nice hardware and all of that. And unfortunate, we don't have them out here. So I can't even try that. I'm not going to get it on Amazon just to find out. Moving along, though, another one that came through, and we can leave you OnePlusers out there with the OnePlus Open, because I know we have fans of the OnePlus. I was so much looking forward to using that OnePlus 10T, and unfortunately, it just wouldn't work on my network for some reason or else. I was looking forward to using that thing for like 30 days and putting my Pixel aside and see what happens. But John, are you getting the OnePlus Open? I'm not sure. I'm not going to try it because I know I got it and it didn't work for me, so there was no need to even try it.
I don't think I'm getting it unless I find a good deal on it, because it's expensive. It's $1,700, so it is technically cheaper than Samsung's version and Google's version, and it's actually a lot better. I mean, they only sell it in one storage variant, which is 512 gigabytes, excuse me, and it comes with 16 gigabytes of memory, and it comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So it's got all the best, Android hardware, really. It's got better cameras on it than on any foldable. Now, you could argue that the Pixel Fold takes great pictures because Google does a lot with software, and that's true. But, just from specs, the cameras on this are much better than the cameras on the Samsung Fold and the Pixel Fold. They're using Sony's new sensor, which I don't think's been used in any other phones yet, besides Sony phones, obviously. And it's a very high-end phone. It has the screens on it are brighter than any other screens on these foldables. It's very tempting. They offered me $800 trade-in during the pre-order for my S23 Ultra, and I was a little salty because they were offering $1,000 for, of course, like the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And I was like, well, you're not gonna give me $1,000 for my S23 Ultra. So I think that is why I decided to pass on it for now. If I could get it for cheap somehow, I probably will, because I do love OnePlus phones, and this has the signature mute switch on it, and I do like the screen off gestures that they offer. I think those are cool. So yeah, it was tempting me. The one downside is it does not support wireless charging, and that's something I use a lot. I know some people don't use it, but I use that a lot.
So I'm one of those that don't care about the wireless charging. I mean, my Pixel stand is sitting somewhere. I have no clue where it is. Never once used it. I think I only tested it out. But yeah, and what I like about OnePlus, because I used to kind of give them a bad time. They were so stingy when it comes to storage, and now that they're up to 512. But the one thing I liked about OnePlus is the fact that the memory is always big. I mean, they're the only ones, or one of the very few ones with 16 gigs of RAM. I think that these 12 gigs of RAM for the pros in Samsung and Pixel phones is kind of getting old. We need to move out of this 12 as the max. I think time is saying we should move forward to 16 gigs and be on par with the OnePluses and all the Vivo phones and all those phones from Apple that have 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, especially if you're paying $1,400 for your 1 terabyte. Why not throw in 16 gigabytes memory of RAM?
That should have been a differentiating whatever for the Pixel, especially the 1 TB. They should have bumped that one exclusively to 16 gigs. So you got the 512 or 256 and 128. You got 12 gigs of RAM. Or is it 8 gigs of RAM for the 128? I don't remember. How much memory does the 128 version has?
I think
John, you
all of
remember?
the Pixel 8 Pro has 12, no matter what memory size you get.
That makes sense. So I think what they could have done was for the 1 TB version, it should have had 16 gigs of RAM. That should be fair.